Hello everybody, I'm Robelle Autonomy, and today we're here to talk about a certain gacha game. So, Stella Sora released about a week ago, probably a little bit less. I don't know when I'm uploading this, but we'll see. And that so far, the community response has been, well, it's very reminiscent of the response to that of a certain Danganronpa-styled gacha game about extreme baseball. One that I am very torn up about, but that is how things ended up. You give and take, and unfortunately they just kept taking, and now they got cooked. But today we're looking at Stella Sora, YoStar's first individually published game, and yes, that's right, this is their first game that they've done. Right? They have no external devs and companies involved, so we can't really compare this to something like Blue Archive or Arknights. And that's how it is. This is their first rodeo, so obviously they've made a couple mistakes, so let's hop right into that. Anyway, I want to make a video going over the truth, because everyone is talking about this game. Obviously the community is in uproar. People are slandering the game, people are blindly defending the game, people are saying if you don't like it, don't play it, which by all means, probably not the best thing to chase off the potential customers. So here's the real issue. All this controversy, all this negativity, all this blazing without a second thought, all the community being at odds, it's all because of one thing: the monetization and the gacha. One look at the gacha rates, one look at the shop, one look at the cost per pull, and the problem immediately apparent. In today's age where the gacha market has become so competitive that many gacha games are flat out removing the gacha system to make their games seem more enticing, Stella Sora has decided to make the cost of pulls, well, double that of our mainstream gacha game, Genshin Impact. And then Stella Sora has gone and changed the cost per pull, doubling the cost per pull compared to that of the beta. But not only that, the top-up shop has the exact same pricing as that of the mainstream established Genshin Impact. But this isn't per pull, this is per gem, meaning because they doubled the cost of a single pull, for people looking to spend money on the game, and these people are important, the game needs to make money, for the people looking to spend money, the game is twice as expensive as Genshin Impact, and that's insane. How are we, a smaller time gacha game, making Hoyoverse look generous? Isn't that like a ridiculous statement? And of course, no hate towards Hoyoverse, as we all know I'm the biggest shill for Zenless Zone Zero that absolutely love that game, but my point still stands, this game's monetization is looking bad. And we haven't even addressed the rates. Currently, we're seeing games eliminate the Twisty Facetious and stay competitive with other gachas, as some are even lowering pity, and upcoming games such as Duet Night Abyss and Anata flat out don't have gacha for characters. So we see this incredibly competitive market where in order to compete with one another, the companies have improved their products to the point that the regular gacha system is slowly and surely being eliminated. And then we have Stella Sora releasing with gacha rates from 2020 in big 2025. That's not a good look. Except it gets worse. This isn't Genshin's 50-50, oh no, this is worse. We have banners that don't carry over pity, and there's no guarantee after losing your 50-50. And that's right, we can lose multiple times in a row, and that's gonna feel terrible. And then on top of that, we have all this, and then there's also a weapon banner? But wait, there's more! The weapon banner isn't even guaranteed, it's a 75-25! To the average player, this looks like a gacha nightmare. And now, if we're being fair, nobody has reached the end game yet, and we don't know how necessary these weapons are. And another thing, to be completely fair, pulling on any banner generates the currency for the weapon banner, so if you'd save for a bit, you'll just passively gain weapons, or new discs, but let's just call them weapons for now, from doing pulls on limited banners and the standard banner as well. But this is all besides the point. The issue is that this all looks bad at a glance, and so we're already alienating all the potential customers and players just by having the gacha aligned with such poorly implemented dated systems. And truthfully, if we're being completely objective when it comes to these gacha rates and the pity and the income and all this and that, at the end of the day, the numbers for all gacha games don't actually matter, because the devs of these games tend to balance the race with pull income. For example, Zenless Zone Zero, we see 100 pulls per patch free to play, but they're releasing 2 limited units and weapons every 6 weeks. So if the pity for all this is around 80 to 90, that's 1/4 to get everything, right? So it's balanced so that people will still spend money. And those aren't enough to get everything, right? And the Genshin doesn't always release 2 limited units, but on average, we're seeing the free-to-play players getting around 60 or so pulls. Now, these numbers do fudge up and down depending on the occasion, like on anniversary, maybe there's a bit more, or maybe they'll increase sometimes and then lower later on. Like, I know Genshin likes to increase the polls for free to play on the anniversary, and in the patch after, there's less polls mysteriously. That's just, that's just how the cookie crumbles. So I bring this up because, as it stands, we have no clue what Stella Sora's pull income is actually looking like. Alright, so maybe, and this is completely theoretical and maxed out on copium, but just maybe they bombard us with mini pulls for free to play, and then their intended experience is for players to rely on the free income primarily, with premium paid currency being a last resort. But that's all conjecture. And honestly, that's a horrendous system because you want players to spend money. You want the light spenders buying the really cheap packs. Alright, when you make the poll so expensive, it deters them from spending. Light spenders will just be free to play. If I spend $20 and I only get 4 polls, well, I'm not going to spend $20. That $20 is not going far. And at that point, just don't spend, right? Even their monthly pass is only resulting in an extra 11 polls per month. That looks so bad, especially when our pity is so high. And it looks like they're releasing characters every 20 days. Now, Stella Sora does have higher rates at a whopping 2%. Ooh, a whopping 2%. Much higher over other games, such as Genshin, which I believe is at 0.6% for a 5-star. And overall, the perceived value, right? The perceived value, the value that players comprehend and see at a glance. This perceived value is very, very low in Stella Sora. Now, us who enjoy the game, we can sing all the praise we want, but that doesn't change the fact that the vast majority of those that would spend no longer will spend because it doesn't seem worth it. I guess this goes without saying, but the point I'm making is that we just scared off a large portion of the player base, and then combine that with, the elitist gacha players that are like, oh, well, I'm not having any problems. You don't need to play this game if you don't like it. Now, that is true for a lot of games, but Stella Sora just started. We don't have an established player base yet, so I don't think we should be scaring off the new players. Here's the thing, this is such a bad start for this IP. And now, EOS end of service, it may be a real threat. Now, I don't think Yoastar is just gonna let this game die, because while this is their first rodeo, right? They're gonna look like clowns. They're gonna be the laughing stock of all the other companies. It's gonna look so bad if they abandon their probably multi-million-dollar invested project, right? And here's the thing, I don't want this game to end of service. If we ignore the rates, if we ignore the greed for 5 seconds and look at what the game is as a whole, we have this roguelite auto-action RPG that plays brilliantly on phones. The gameplay loop is so fun. There's a variety of game modes. They got a dungeon crawler. Farming is easy with their quick skip. And the flippin' Vampire Survivors is one of the game modes. And the characters are all cute and unique, and the world is incredibly interesting with its take on modern world fantasy. And for the characters, right, they have everything you could want. Well, unless you're looking for guy characters, those don't really exist here. And we have the cute characters that are adorable. We have the characters that are hot with their, they're very, very well endowed. So there's so much here for players to get attached to and love, right? And then the character interactions are also very charming. The art is absolutely gorgeous. And they've gone up and beyond with their puppet animation or live 2D animation, whatever you choose to call this. Their wallpapers and stuff look great. And the characters all have phones. They send you cute little texts. You can invite them to go explore or you go on a date. Each character has their own little mini story, and they get an animated wallpaper too. After you build up your relationship with them. Each character kit is balanced with an insane amount of potential roguelike buffs, making their kits so much more work than normal. Like, they have all these different buffs that you could potentially get while dungeon crawling, and they gotta do this separately for every single character. I have no idea how they're balancing this. That's so much work. And then also you can play on PC and play with all the frame perfect inputs and perfect dodge everything. But what's nice is everything seems to be accessible on auto battle, meaning you can just casually play on your phone. And that's what I wanted. I wanted a game that's nice and casual on my phone. In this day and age, every gacha for some reason has to be some gigantic open world, super hyper action, maxed out on graphics powerhouse. Like Mrs. Me, they're full-fledged games. And then they have a mobile port with some garbage touch controls that the most garbage touch controls you've ever seen. I can barely play these games on my phone. Unless you have a $2,000 phone, they're not running good. Your phone starts turning into I mean, if you're cold in the winter, you better boot up Genshin Impact on your phone. Boot up Wuthering Waves on your phone. It'll keep you warm. And these weren't designed to be a casual experience on your phone that you can just boot up and play. And these are essentially the full-fledged games that just so happen to have a phone port because, well, everyone has a phone. That means there's a bajillion potential customers. And Stella Sora feels that lighthearted niche where it's not something that looks dated, but it still has that old-school gacha appeal. Right, and there's so much good in this game and all of it is ruined by one greedy decision. And so, at the end of the day, what is the point of this video? I just want people to not jump to conclusions. To the dedicated fans, there is no point in telling others to stay away, and I know it's not all of you. It's probably just a few bad apples, but don't let them spoil the basket. And to those that don't want to give the game a chance, I implore you, give it a try. You might find something special. At least that's what happened to me. And now we're gonna EOS? Well, maybe, right? That's up in the air. The U-Star has made a statement that they're listening, but as of recording this, they have failed to address any of the real complaints. They just said we're listening. Like, that's the most non-answer ever. And the game is currently sitting at 1.6 stars on the App Store, so we're looking pretty bad. Right? That's definitely scaring away all the potential new players. Like, imagine you see number 1 on the App Store. It's not even number 1. It's probably like number 5 at this point. You see something high. Oh, that looks new. And you look at 1.6 stars. Never mind. I don't want to download it. We might be cooked. But that doesn't change the fact that I so want to I want this game to continue. I want so badly for this game to continue. It really is something special. So if you're enjoying the game, please firmly and politely, alright? Emphasis politely, let the devs know that they have a golden egg that they're covering in flipping poison. What are these prices? Well, those are my thoughts. So if you enjoyed my little rant here, and if you did, please hit that like button. Lets me know that you guys want more content like this. And I'd also love to hear what you guys have to say about Stella Sora in the comments below. Is it completely over? Is the game doomed? What can the devs do to turn the game around? Like, how far do they have to go to bring this back from the brink? Because by all means, it looks like we're speedrunning EOS, but I want to have hope. I want to believe that they can turn things around, because this game, again, it's brilliant. And just how far does this game have to go to make a comeback? Anyways, if you watched this long, that means you probably enjoyed the video, and that means you should subscribe for more. So smash that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you know when I upload next. As after all, I do cover all kinds of gacha content, lots of reactions where we break down the directing, the animation, and the story of trailers, along with looking at the music. Anyway, I hope you all had a good one. Remember, antenna waves are nice, so I will see you all next time. Bye!